Hi everyone, my name's Laura and you're watching my channel So Very Laura. Welcome back if you're an existing subscriber, and welcome if you're new to my channel, which you might very well be if you've come over from following the Sewing Vlogmastour. So for those of you who don't know what on earth I'm talking about, Sam, who is Sequin Girlie Creates, and Agata from In Agata's Cottage over on here on YouTube, but they're also on Instagram, have put together a sewing vlogmastour for those of us who, like them, don't necessarily have time to film every day, but wanted to do something for Vlogmas. So the idea is that from the 1st to the 24th of December, it's like opening your own little advent calendar full of sewists. So each day you can click on a video from a different person. So as you can see, I'm day 18. Yesterday was at my superpower, and tomorrow, Tuesday the 19th, will be Julie from Julie Sews Her Own Clothes. So I'll link their channels down below as well. But if you search on hashtag Sewing Vlogmastour, you can find everybody's vlogs under that hashtag. And Sam is also creating a playlist on her own channel as people put up their videos. So without further ado, what am I doing in terms of a Christmas vlog? So what I thought I'd do is I wanted to put together a me-made holiday wardrobe to pick out various different things that people tend to do over the holiday period, and an outfit that I would like to wear that's me-made for those particular occasions. Now, this isn't things I've already made. This is things that I would like to make and patterns that I would like to try. But I thought that might be a bit too easy because I could just pick any pattern that I liked and go online and have a look at fabrics and say, and I'd really like to make it in this. And I decided that isn't really what I should be doing, because I should, as we all should sometimes, be shopping our stash. So I've put rules in place. So the first rule is that I have to own the pattern that I want to make. And the second rule is I actually have to own the fabric in sufficient quantity to make that pattern. And the third rule is I'm not allowed to say that I want to sew anything that I've already sewn, because otherwise, as you probably know, there'd be a big risk that I'd say, okay, I want a nice warm cozy dress, so I'm going to make the South Bank dress, because I've made it before quite a few times. And those of you who've been following me for a while will know that I really love the Nora from brain's gone blank, Tilly and the Buttons, for a nice warm cozy top, and I've made it out of fleece. So I'm not allowed to do that. I've got to pick new patterns, but they've got to be things that I already own. So just to start quickly with what I'm wearing the nearest thing that I've got to a me-made Christmas sweater, and this is the Tessuti Monroe turtleneck sweater, which is a free pattern, and I made this a couple of years ago. And it's absolutely fine in that it still fits me, but it's always been a little bit tight on the arms. And having seen in the sewing community, I know that people have found that with this pattern, and also with the Mandy Boat Tee, which, as you probably know, is another free pattern from Tessuti. So if I made it again, I'd just make the sleeves a little bit wider, just under the armhole, kind of around the bicep area. And it's made in this kind of, actually it's fairly cheap, jersey fabric from Fabricland in Bristol, which I got a couple of years ago. So that's what I'm wearing. And I'm also wearing some faintly festive earrings, these high-heeled sparkly shoes, which I got on QVC from Butler and Wilson, but years ago. So if I can find them still, I'll pop a link, but that's what they are. I'm actually in my socks, but I thought at least my ears can be festive. So let's get into it in terms of my me-made holiday wardrobe. And the other thing I just wanted to say is that I am aware that not all of you will celebrate Christmas, but hopefully the types of occasion I've picked are generic enough that whether you celebrate with another religion or whether you aren't a believer, you will do these kind of events in general. And so I hope there's something for you here, even if you don't celebrate Christmas. So the first day that I wanted to look at was a celebration at home with family and or friends. So this, in terms of the current holiday period, might be Christmas Day, but it could just as easily be something else. So what I've chosen as my pattern for that is I wanted something that was kind of secret pyjamas and comfortable, but looked nice also in case we actually take any photographs or anything. So I've gone for the Estelle dress by Sew Over It. So I'll pop a picture in here of it. And so this comes with kind of like a tie at the waist, which I think is good for kind of hiding if your stomach gets bigger during the day while you're eating. And I thought it might also be more comfortable. And it's got an optional split up the sides, because you can make it either quite slim fitting or you can make it wider fitting and have splits up the side. And it's got long sleeves. I'm not going to put loads and loads of size details in this video, but I will link to all the patterns below. But just to say, this comes in a UK 6 to 30. And for my size, which is roughly a size 14 on this, I would need, apologies, I've got my notes down here, that's why I'm looking down. I'd need about 2.4 meters of fabric. And so what I've picked out from my stash is this jersey, which I bought in Helsinki. And haven't even pre-washed this. I went on a cruise about just over a year ago, and we stopped off at Helsinki and I went fabric shopping. So I'll link to that video down below. But I think this is quite nice. It's kind of rusty red, really, maybe rusty pink, with these flowers on it. And I have measured it, and I've got well over 3 meters of this. It's nice and stretchy, but it's got a bit of weight to it. I think it is viscose. But yes, I didn't know quite how much I got because I actually bought it by weight. But yes, I've got plenty to make that pattern. So I think that would look really nice. And because it's kind of darkish coloured, I've got other jerseys in my stash that I'd have enough of, but they're quite pale, probably a bit more for spring. So I thought that was quite nice for a winter celebration. So that's the first one. And I definitely think it would be secret pyjamas. So the next type of holiday activity that I thought about was the holiday walk. You know, the day after the celebration where everybody's a bit fed up of being walled up in front of the TV. So you might go out and go for a walk, or you might go shopping. But this outfit would do for either. So what I've gone for, I've got to be careful here, not knock my drink over, so apologies while I disappear out of shot, is to make the Mountain View jeans, which are by Itch to Stitch. So I'll pop a picture up here. And I've mentioned this pattern before. It is something that is on my radar as a make in the not too distant future. And I like it because it's a faux fly front and an elasticated waist. And I thought that might be quite nice when we're all sort of probably eating a bit too much than is good for us. And also not as scary to sew, maybe. So this comes in sizes UK 6 to 36. And it's stretch jeans as well. And you need, for the size I would make, I need just over 2 meters. So this is a 2 meter piece of denim fabric, and I got a batch of about, I think it was 10 meters of denim fabric from, I want to say Dalston Mill Fabrics, I think it was. So although I've got just over 2 meters here, I think I've got other fabrics that are pretty similar to this, other bits of denim. So if I haven't got quite enough, if I can't get it out of 2 meters, it only needed something like 2 meters 30. So I might be able to do something like cut the inside of a waistband from a slightly different batch of fabric. But I've certainly got enough to make it. So that is on the bottom half. That's some jeans, Mountain View jeans. And for my top half, and if you've been watching me a little while, you'll know that this is something that I've said I want to make. And I bought this fabric specifically to make it. I just haven't made it yet. And this is some jersey V-line cable. It's Agata. It is a kind of khaki colour. I'm not sure if it's coming off. I think it's probably coming reasonably accurately on screen. And this is from Higgs and Higgs, and I got 2 meters of it, and that is exactly what I need to make the pattern that I want to use, and that's the Myla jumper by Tammy Handmade, which I've had for a little while now. I've got some other fabric to toile it, so I would do that first. And this comes in a size 6 to 32, and I've got exactly 2 meters, and I think that would be plenty. So I will pop a pic in of the Myla here, but you'll see it's kind of sort of boxy, slouchy, which I think is quite nice and will go with the sort of slightly narrower look of the Mountain View jeans. And if I make the Mountain View jeans with the slightly bootleg cut, then I think that will go quite nicely with the kind of boxiness on the top, and then it nipping in and then it going out again by the boots. So I thought that was a nice outfit just to be kind of relaxed and casual, going for a walk or walking around the sales or whatever. So that was my second day. Next up, sometimes we get that, I think sometimes it's called Twixtmas. And I love Sam Sequin Girlie's term for it, because I heard her talking about it the other day and she called it crimbo limbo. And I think that's exactly right, isn't it? You get these days between Christmas Day, Boxing Day and the New Year where the world kind of seems to go on pause, and you get it, and every day kind of feels more or less the same as the day before. But sometimes to break that up, we might say, okay, well, let's go out with friends, or you might have a trip to the pantomime or to theatre, or you'll go out for lunch or something. So I wanted to think about how I could put together an outfit where I would look put together and smart enough to go out and see people or to go to the theatre, but not really overdone and overdressed, and also to be comfortable. And so what I came up with was, and I've got a paper pattern this time to show you for the bottom half, is this skirt, which I've had for ages actually. My husband bought it for me when I first started sewing. And much to my shame, I still haven't made it. And this is the V, handily it's got the label stuck over the top, but it is the V8956. And I would want to make view B, which has got this kind of drop this side. And it's a wrap. So I really like that. Just haven't got round to making it yet. I will say that I'm slightly nervous about making it, because overall it comes in sizes 6 to 22, but this is one of those patterns where it splits. So you've got A5, which is sizes 6 to 14, and then E5, which is 14 to 22. And my husband bought me the smaller size range, and when he bought me it, I was definitely in the smaller size range. And now it's possible that I might technically need the bigger size range, because looking at the sizing, I think technically I'm more like a 16 to 18 in terms of the waist and hip measurements. But I'm also thinking, certainly on the hip, that's quite roomy. So I'm hoping that there's enough ease in it, and quite often there are in big 4 patterns, that I'll be all right and I'll manage to make the smaller size, or just at least be able to draft a bit of an extension to the waist. So I'll measure the pattern pieces before I cut into any fabric. So that's the pattern, and it says it calls for wool, flannel, gabardine or crepe. And what I've got a choice of 2, but this is the one that I'd really like to try and use, and it is this one, which is really super heavy, and I bought it from Pound Fabrics on a bit of a whim last year, and it is this green, it's a wool blend, and as you can see it's green and it's got these kind of speckles in it. It's quite heavy. I don't know, I might try wrapping it around me and see if it's got enough great drape to do it, because it might be better as a jacket, I'm not sure. But I like it because it's got these lovely little flecks in it, which breaks up the green a bit. So that's the first alternative. If that doesn't work out, I've got another alternative, which is this one, which I will show you. And I know I've got 3 meters of the green and I've got 2 meters of this. And I have worked out that I have got enough. I think I'd need 2 meters. Yeah, I need 2 meters to make it if I made the size 18. So yeah, I'm absolutely fine. So this one is a bit more drapey. And I actually originally bought this fabric with that pattern in mind, but it's slightly bobbly, and the reason I haven't actually done it yet is because I keep worrying that if I use interfacing in this, if I use ironing interfacing, it will go bobbly and I might need to get some sewing interfacing. The other one, the green one, is much smoother despite it having the flex in it. So that's the other one that I've got. So if I decide the green doesn't work, I can still make the red. So that's the skirt, and I think that would be kind of nice for a day out, and you know, comfortable, assuming the pattern fits, but without being kind of too over the top, nice and casual. And the other thing I really wanted to do when I was putting this together, and I didn't say this at the beginning, is I want this to be a sustainable wardrobe. In other words, I want what I would make to be things that I could wear again, even if it isn't the holiday time. So that was the kind of additional criterion. I don't want to make things that are going to sit in the wardrobe until this time next year. And then with the green, if I can use the green, I was going to use this red. It's our old friend, the cable fabric that so many people have made things in. So the Northern Soul Sisters did a collab where they each took a colour of this. And they got theirs from First for Fabrics. I got mine from Pound Fabrics. I've got 2 meters of it. And what I want to make is probably the newest pattern in my collection, more or less. And I got this last week, and it is the LB pullover from Paper Theory. So if you're on the Fold Line mailing list, you will know that they did a 12 days of kind of Christmas treats, one of which was free PDF printing. No, not free, 20% off. But there were a couple of free patterns, and this was one of them. So the LB pullover by Paper Theory Patterns, and this comes in UK sizes 6 to 28. And I would probably make a size 12. It's quite boxy. I'll pop a pic in up here of what it looks like. It's not unlike this one, actually. So it's got drop shoulders and a turtleneck, or you can make a crew neck. And it's quite short. So I thought that would sit quite nicely. If I go back to that pattern again, I thought that would sit quite nicely with a fairly dramatic wide skirt. So I'm actually looking at the flex in the green. And the only thing I'm wondering is actually whether I would be better swapping this out, because I've got a pumpkin coloured, same jersey, just a different colour, a kind of pumpkin colour. So that might go better with the flex in the green. If I end up using the red fabric for the skirt, then if I show you the red again, it's got, you can see it's got kind of black bits in it. So, and I've also got this in black. So I can be flexible about which colour I would use. But I think that might look really nice as an outfit. Okay, so that's 3 outfits, 1 more to go. And this is the New Year's Eve party. So unlike the family celebration, this I'm envisaging that I might go out somewhere. So I might go to a party at friends or neighbours, or, you know, one of the ones where you pay, or I might even go away to a hotel. I have to say, I probably won't do any of this, and I'll probably just be sitting around in my jeans or my PJs with my husband and a bottle of fizz. but we can dream. So for the New Year's Eve party, sorry, I've got to reach this out. I'm standing in front of my cutting table, so I've got everything out on the cutting table. I just keep grabbing it. So I shall just be 5 seconds while I go and grab it. So here we go. Let's start with the pattern. So this pattern I got for free with Love Sewing magazine, and it is the V9075, and what I would want to make is the jumpsuit, which I think is beautiful. It's princess themed. There you go, princess themed, and then gathered, and you've got these wide legs, which I think I would probably extend down a bit so they were full length. And if I could, I'd probably try and extend the sleeves a little bit down to my elbows as well. But I really like this, and I've seen it made by the lovely Jess over at So What If I Sew. She made a version of this for her master's graduation, and it was absolutely fantastic. And Rachel Stitched Up has also made it. So I think it's a really good pattern, but I haven't tried it yet. But I think, again, this is something that would work year round, and because it's not really long sleeved, it would probably work for summer as well. The fabric I want to make it in is this one. So you can make that in jersey, you can make it in crepe, but it also says you can use linen blends. This is actually a viscose, but I think it might work. It might look slightly more drapey, but I think it would be okay. So it's this, and I'm sure you will have seen this before, because a whole load of us went to the Festival of Quilts in August, and we bought this from Rainbow Fabrics. So Beck from At What Beck Sews, Adele Sofa of Serenity, and I think one or two others bought this fabric. And isn't it just amazing? But I think it's really kind of party and dramatic against this black background. So I think it would look great for a kind of New Year's Eve party. And I've got 4 meters of this, and in order to make the jumpsuit, which comes in a UK 6 to 22 by the way, and I would need 2.7 meters of fabric, so I've got plenty. And I just think that it's just amazing. I really like it. I really liked it when I bought it, and I really like it now. So I'd be very happy to make that jumpsuit for a New Year's Eve party. So that's it. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What are you making, if anything, for the holiday period? And do you try to plan your wardrobe out by events? Those are my thoughts, and I haven't cheated. So everything in my stash, patterns, even where they're PDF and I haven't managed to show you them, I promise you they are in my stash. And I haven't made any of those patterns before. Some of them are on my plans list, but not all of them. And I've found this a really useful exercise because it's forced me to look at what's in my stash and what I compare together. And it's also made me think more about outfits, which is something I said I wanted to do on my sewing goals for 2023. Outfits are not just individual makes. So, and I'll do a kind of review of where I got to with my sewing goals for 2023 at the start of 2024. So in terms of what's next from my channel, and I do hope you've enjoyed this vlog, and if you're new here, please do consider subscribing and giving this video a like. As Sam said in her introduction to the Vlogmas, a lot of us are small channels, and that really helps us to get noticed and to build our sewing communities. But the next vlog probably that you'll see from me is going to be me reporting back on my process of drafting my trouser toile using the Sew Over It Stitch School and trying to fit it. So I'm at the point where I finished drafting out the paper pattern. I've gone through, added the seam allowances on and made up the toile other than putting a zip in it, and I might just get my husband to pin it. So what I'll do is I'll take some photos and a bit of video of what it looks like before I do any alterations, and then I will report back on what alterations, if any, I need. I'm not sure yet whether I need any or not. And then I'm going to make it up again using the fabric that I showed you last time, which is an old quilt cover. So hopefully it will be wearable trousers, but if not, I think it was £3.50, so it didn't really cost me anything. So that will be my next vlog, and then I will be back with a review of my sewing goals for 2023. So I do hope you go and watch lots of other lovely sewing vloggers, and particularly the ones on the Vlogmas tour. And it only remains for me to wish you a very happy holiday period, whether you celebrate Christmas or not. I hope that you have a happy and peaceful end to 2023 and a wonderful start to 2024. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.